Are we live? Are we good? Hello, hello, hello. Where are we? It is the Passport to Freedom with Harley-Davidson and Candida Louis today. What's happening? We are... Alright, there you go. Let's do sound check. Can everyone hear me? Can I have some thumbs up for a sound check? If you guys can hear me? I'm getting waves and I'm getting things, but I'm not getting any that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Alright, awesome. So, what is it? We're back. Episode 4 of Passport to Freedom, the Harley-Davidson and Candida Louis, right? We're going to get Candida on and talk about... we have people all the way from Brazil. Brilliant. Hope you guys are doing well. Alright, so like I was saying, I don't think Candida needs not so much of an introduction. She is a brilliant motorcyclist. She's done so much. And we're going to talk to her about how she did and just how we can do it if we want to do it. So best way to get all this info is to get Candida on and start chatting with her. If anyone has any questions for Candida while we're chatting, we can ask her later. So hold them and we can get to them then. Awesome. So we got sound check, we got me, we got quite a few people on board. Now we're waiting for Candida to come on and let's get this on the road. It's the only thing we can get on the road. Alright, Candida, where are you? I'm just looking for her and getting her and calling her. There you go. Candida. Awesome. We're going to wait a minute. I'm going to sip my coffee, get my questions ready, and the Fat Bob is quite cool. Last year I rode the Fat Boy for quite a bit of time in and around Chandigarh. That was awesome. I really liked the new Fat Boy. I rode down from Delhi and that was fun. I can't wait till we can start riding again. But okay, we're going to talk about motorcycles later. We need to get Candida on. Very far from the Sons of Anarchy, I feel. Come on. Candida, are you on? There you are. We have Candida is here. We're going to get her on. Come on, let's start this. So we are at episode 4, Passport to Freedom with Harley-Davidson and Candida Louis. Candida,
Hey
what's up?
everyone, here
How are you doing?
having me on this show. I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good, yeah. Thank you for coming and chatting with us, yeah.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I totally forgot until you sent me photographs yesterday that you were there at the flat track as well when Harley-Davidson got Marco Belli down. It totally slipped my mind. So we just start there. What did you think of the flat track experience?
I think that was 2 years ago, right? And what an
Yeah.
incredible experience in Jaipur and getting trained by such wonderful trainers. Even Vijay Singh was there and like all the well-known bikers. So it was super fun. And also to ride on the flat track where I'm so used to riding a motorcycle on the road and off roads, but here we had to unlearn everything and try something new and to ride without the front brake, which was difficult. But I really enjoyed the races that we did, and the first race where I beat the other guys. That was fun.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
like to think of like a Harley Davidson out on those tracks is really unheard of, right? I mean, even though that's what they do, flat track is usually the 750, but it's really unheard of and really, I mean, it was hard to get your mind around.
Yeah. Well, it was super fun. I love the way you were sliding around. And
It's well known now that I think I'm addicted. I'm addicted to the flat track and I need more. So that's a whole different story that we need to talk about how we can get more flat track in India.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, come on. I got so many questions for you. So many people want to know so many things. Let's start at the beginning. Where does motorcycle start for Candida Louis? Where did that start?
So it started like I think when I was a baby. I have photographs of me and my dad like going on rides with my mom as well. So they
Right.
would always put me in the center of the motorcycle, and I remember falling off to sleep all the time because I
Yeah.
really loved the breeze and stuff. And then slowly, gradually, I got to sit on the tank of my dad's bike, and I enjoyed that even more. And he would like let me hold the throttle once in a way, so I
Yeah.
kind of got addicted to that. But then being in Hubli and being around like so many waterfalls that are very close by, when
Right.
I was in college, me and a couple of friends would go riding out to these waterfalls. And initially, I started riding a Pulsar 150,
Right.
and even sometimes an Activa, because we would do like just 80 to 120 kilometers a day. So
Right.
it was just about getting to these places and exploring, and not really about the motorcycle and stuff like that. And sometimes we even rode to Goa from here, which is about 220 kilometers.
Right.
So yeah, so I kind of got hooked to that. And then when I shifted to Bangalore and I started working at Oracle,
Yeah.
my manager turned out to be a biker as well, and he had like eight Royal Enfields and
Right.
other different motorcycles. So he would lend his motorcycle so I could continue riding. And
Sweet.
then
Yeah.
yeah, and the first big rides that I did in those days, this was in 2012 and 11. I would actually come riding from Bangalore to Hubli to see my parents most weekends, and
Right.
then ride back and go to work. So yeah, that's how I started. But then only after I quit my job in 2015 is when I started touring full time, and I wanted to get into the motorcycle industry.
Right.
And there wasn't any job for me then, but I
Yeah.
continued like riding, never stopped, and I think opportunities just come to you when people see what you're doing, how passionate you are
I agree.
about something.
I agree.
And yeah,
But
that's
I
how I
mean
started motorcycle tours.
that's brilliant because you went from that to touring long distance, right? You
Yep.
went from literally like there's like literally you're saying you went to see the waterfalls and you did Hubli and you did Bangalore, and from that you decided, hey, I want to go to Australia, right? It's literally out of that you just jumped to the fact that you wanted to cross half the world and ride a motorcycle. How did that? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so it started off with these 80 kilometers, then it went on to weekend ride, then it went on to like a whole week of riding, then it went on to a month. But in 2015, when I was going to do a All India ride, which was supposed to finish only in 3 months, instead I
Right,
took 7 months because I wanted to take it slow, enjoy the experiences, and really live in that moment. So that is when I started doing long distance riding. But yeah, I was lucky to be invited to the US for the Overland Expo, and
sweet,
that's
yeah,
where I heard so much about this boy named Alistair Farland, and how when he was on a motorcycle world trip, he met with an accident and passed away in
right,
North America. And so basically, what I thought, and his parents started this fund like Change Your World Fund, where they
right,
continuing to help youngsters travel and explore the world. So I thought if someone's parents, even after such a great loss, could continue to support people like this, then I should do something in his honor. And he really inspired me the more I read about him. So that's when I thought, instead of me randomly riding from India to London,
right,
I would ride from India to Sydney and finished the ride for Alistair since he lived in Sydney. And yeah, his
Right.
parents were in touch with me the whole time and they were following my journey. And the most amazing part was reaching Sydney and they were waiting for me at the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I also got to stay with the family for a week.
Wow.
And along the way, it actually felt like I was finishing the ride for him because I met a couple of his friends. I
Oh wow.
did stuff that was his favorite, but I only realized that when I got to his house and his mom was showing me pictures of him. So yeah, just things like this.
Yeah.
And also, I love to do projects. Like I've ridden in Cambodia with close
Right.
friends for about a month,
Right.
wherein we went around delivering laptops and teaching people English, helping build schools. So
Right.
I love doing projects like this where we can do good as we go and not just ride for our sakes.
Right. That's
Yeah.
well, brilliant. But it's no small journey, right? I
No.
mean, it's no small journey. How do you get ready for such a journey? I mean, I spend enough time on the motorcycle, but I've never gone out, say, for three months is what you started off in, and you ended after six, right?
8 months
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, 8 months. I mean, like, how do you prepare? How do you get ready for a journey like that?
I even my 7 month India ride, I only knew about that ride 4 days prior, and I left immediately, and I just took everything as it came. In a similar way, I got to know for a fact that I was actually going on this ride just a week before I left, because that's when I went and got my gear. I do not know it was actually happening until I left from Bangalore because there's so much to plan, so much to
Yeah,
do. So I actually took that step and left. And then I figured out that this is what I'm missing. This is what I've not been carrying. And
yeah,
I picked up things along the way because
all
I
the way.
was
Yeah,
riding in India for a month before I could
right,
exit India. So
right.
I think you never really prepared for a big journey like this,
Yeah.
and you learn a lot of things on the way. And yeah, I even packed one day before I left, but the only big thing was preparing the documentation because
Yeah,
that took
absolutely.
quite a lot of time,
That
at
that
least
was going to be my
one
next
and a half
question, but yeah,
months.
carry on. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I just made sure that I had the right paperwork, like the visas, the Khane, and all of that was sorted. So I only knew I have visas for 10 different countries. I am going to pass through all these 10 different countries, but I
right,
did not really have a route. I did not know where I'm going to stay next
right.
or which place I'm going to be next. I just knew that this is what I'm going to do, and I have to get to Sydney.
That's amazing. That's I mean, like I can't. I again, like the documentation is the hardest part. That is the most
Very
planning
hard.
that you have to, and especially this for visas where you need to say you're coming in on so and so date and you're leaving on so and so date. It's just I don't understand how to do it all alone, to do it all yourself. I mean, did you have any help? Was it
I
just
did.
you hammering it out?
Yeah, it was a lot of research. There's not a lot of information out there about how you could pass through all these countries. So it
Right.
was kind of very difficult to do everything by myself. But I had a few friends that helped me out. And also, yeah, so the main reason why I could do this ride um, like this and why it took me so long was because there were a lot of hurdles on the way. Like
Right.
when I was supposed to take a ferry from Malaysia to Indonesia, I had to wait for 15 days because the sea was
Wow.
rough and we couldn't go
Right.
on that ferry boat. So the thing is, I had the time, so
Right.
I could plan, like if anything happened, I had the time, so I could wait for things to get
Yeah.
better and then move on. The same thing happened even in Bali when the motorcycle was supposed to take only 15 days, but ended up taking 2 months to reach Perth, Australia. So yeah, so it can get quite frustrating, but then I used my time wisely during those
Right.
2 months. I did my master dive course and also learned quite a lot. Did a couple of photo shoots in Bali, and then when I went to Australia, I was staying with the bike family, so I
Right.
helped them build like a shed where they could keep all their motorcycles. So I learned how to weld and repair my motorcycle and stuff like that. So it's if you have the time, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
there's a lot
Absolutely.
you can do and a lot that you can learn as well on the road.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I totally agree. And that's such a great way to travel. It's just you have to get there, you take your time, and that's the best way to even see. I mean, the part of the world you traveled through is phenomenal. I could spend like years just doing this little bit of the trip. There's so much to see and so much to do, and I really believe you did it the right way. It's really the right. Take your time, eat and sleep, and enjoy every bit of it, and hang out with the locals, and it must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was. And I was hoping that I could do like a bigger ride
Yeah.
this year, but now we all are stuck at home.
Oh, well, there's a lot of time planning. It gives you a lot more time to
Yeah,
plan and to pack and just be ready for the next ride, right?
true, true. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us what in that bag of yours is the most important motorcycle paraphernalia that you carry. What are the tools that you carry? There must be one thing that is the most important thing that goes from bag to bag to bag, right? From
So yeah, the most important thing for me was my camping equipment because
yeah,
most of the time I was camping, and like my stove and food, like thin food, were the
yeah,
most important things, especially when I reached Australia. I kind of realized how remote the country was,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so I took a lot of unnecessary stuff from my motorcycle and left it back in Perth. And I filled my panniers with what was essential, like food, water, and petrol. So
yeah,
these were the main things that I was carrying, and yeah, so that's how I got through. But like when I left for the trip, I was carrying a lot of unnecessary things. I was carrying a lot of spares and I was
right,
carrying a lot of tools. But once I reached Thailand, I sent all of that back because um, throughout the journey, there were always like
yeah, absolutely.
places that I
Someone to help.
could go and
Yeah,
get them. Yeah, and someone to help. So even though it's a solo ride, I've never felt alone at all. So why carry all that unnecessary
I
things,
agree. I agree.
especially when you're going off-roading and your motorcycle falls so many times?
Yeah,
It's so much easier to pick up a motorcycle when it's lightweight. And so I told myself that if something happens to the motorcycle, then I will figure it out then
yeah,
and there
yeah,
and not have to carry it unnecessary till the bike breaks down.
yeah. I agree.
So yeah, I there was one motorcyclist from Bangalore who had come for a holiday to Thailand, so he took all my stuff and dropped it back
Oh,
in
sweet.
Bangalore. Yeah, so that's how I was traveling pretty light actually.
But you
And
were alone most of the way, right? It was you were just meeting people on the road and riding with them for bits and pieces and taking was it that taking their suggestions of where to go next and kind of just make your way to Perth.
yeah, so this is the question I get asked
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
because no one actually believes that
yeah,
I rode by myself. But
yeah,
but it's like if you're alone, you are never alone because
yeah,
everyone around you wants to know what are you doing alone in this
yeah,
place. They always want to help. And with such a big Instagram community and
yeah,
YouTube community, everyone recognizes and people are following my story,
yeah.
so they know
And
that I'm
waiting
coming
and
to.
wait and
Yeah,
waiting
I'm
that and
waiting.
wait. Yeah, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, so a lot of places there would be people waiting on the highways and ride along with me to the city,
Brilliant.
and then from there ride a little, like ride with me for a breakfast or something, and then head back. So yeah, but through Myanmar, I rode with 10 motorcyclists from
Right.
different countries because, as you know, Myanmar, you
Yeah.
can't really ride alone and you need a guide and
Yeah.
and a backup vehicle, which is very, very expensive, and
Right.
that is why we decided to ride as a group. But yeah, because all of us were had kind of like a similar route, we would always bump into the same
Right. Yeah.
places and meet up for dinner. So that's what happened. But yeah, I left Bangalore alone and I came back alone.
Yeah.
So
Amazing. Amazing. How do you go from that trip to another trip? What is Candida up to next, basically, if everyone wants to know? What is the next big ride, the next crazy thing that you're planning to do?
ever since I've gotten back from the trip, I've not stopped riding. Like as soon as I was back, I went like on multiple rides. I've been riding
Yeah.
the whole year until Corona. But yeah, this year I really wanted to ride from India to London since it's always
Yeah.
been a dream. But
Yeah.
since a lot of motorcyclists have already done it, so I was
Yeah.
thinking of like maybe doing a different route. I'm not sure yet, but I just want to leave and then figure out the route on the way. Yeah,
That's brilliant, but you know how sad it is that our passport is terrible. It's
exactly.
so hard to leave we can't even leave the country and be like, hey, I'll get my visas as we go along. It's something we really need to plan out, and I think that's the worst bit for us motorcyclists who want to cross borders and just kind of start and end somewhere. It's well, I hope the planning is going well, and I hope it does well for you. I hope we see you disappear soon.
I'm not actually planning because I don't know until when this will go on.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm
true.
hoping things get better soon and we all can be back on the road. And
It's true. It's true.
yeah,
I mean, we spoke to Ausif before we spoke to you a couple of days ago, and I was just like, the moment
yeah,
we finish this, we have to just get out and now get this group of people that we've spoken to on Harley Davidson and disappear down the road and go for a short weekend ride and just start having a good time.
yeah.
You know, it's
Can't wait to ride with you all in Nepal
yeah,
and
we
Harish and
need to start at least keeping us sane.
yeah.
So you were telling me that you had ridden a few Harley Davidsons as well. You've done
Yeah.
a little. What was this first Harley Davidson that you rode?
So when I quit my job at Oracle, I started working at Wicked Ride. It's a luxury motorcycle rental
Right,
company. And because I was leading tours for them,
right,
I used to get to ride the IN 883 and the Street.
right,
And we would often ride to Mysore and
right,
just do short breakfast rides.
right.
And yeah, when I was in Jaipur for the flat track, I also got to ride the Softail.
Oh, you did.
And
You rode the Heritage, the blue one, the one in the photograph.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that motorcycle.
Yeah, I did it as well. It was fun. Yeah.
So,
And
so
a couple of my friends in Bangalore have Fat Bob and Fat Boy, which
yeah,
I ride as
yeah.
well sometimes. So yeah,
Oh,
I
nice.
I don't I could afford a Harley, but I love riding them once in a
Yeah,
way.
well, like then that means when we go for a ride, you and I are going to be fighting over that beautiful Heritage, because I know it's blue and I know you love your blue motorcycles, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be a tough one. We're going to have to ask for 2 3 blue motorcycles.
true. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, I have before we let you go, I want to ask you, who else would you like to see on this platform? Who else would you like to? I know you meet a lot of great motorcyclists and you meet them all over the world. And who do you think the our community would like to hear from?
I don't know if Maril has already been on your show,
No,
but like,
no, not yet.
I would really like her to talk next because
Absolutely.
I haven't heard her experience about how riding, like how she was riding when she was pregnant through
Yeah,
so many countries.
yeah,
And also, she has so much of experience riding a
yeah.
Harley because I think she owns two of them. And
A couple.
yeah,
Yeah,
she would.
yeah.
Yeah, a couple, yeah. So she would be the best person to talk to next.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we can do. Definitely, it's there are a lot of cool people out there, and we really like to get them all, and we have to do them one at a time. And thank you very much, yeah, Candy.
Thank you so
It,
much, Veer. And I really
it
love what Gia did on the board behind. That's
she was like she took her time and she really enjoyed herself, and this is her to be a part of the Passport to Freedom. We have to soon have her on the motorcycle. So
yeah.
brilliant. Thank you once again, Canada. It's I think there are lots of questions out there that people want to ask you. I think the best way to do is really get in touch with Canada and speak to her. I'm sure she'll be happy to answer them. You can ask us also, but then we have to go and I'll get Canada to answer them anyway. So best way to do it is get Canada, I think, on Instagram, and we'll take it from there. And she can help you kind of answer those queries and questions. Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you so
Brill-
much, Veer.
brilliant. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Yeah.
Yeah, very soon. Take
Absolutely. Awesome.
care.
Take it easy. I'm
Bye-bye.
gonna disconnect it now.
Yeah, okay.
Bye.
Bye.
And that was Canada for the fourth episode of Passport to Freedom with Harley-Davidson and Candida Louis. So we do have a date for for the next one. It was going to be on the 3rd of May at 5 o'clock. Who is going to be? We are going to wait 2 days before we tell you. Keep the suspense alive. And we'll see you then, right? I have some coffee left. I'm going to finish that. And I'm out of here. Ciao. Stay safe.